and we are live on our end. What's up, everybody watching? I got two special guests on here from the Time Served podcast YouTube channel. What's up? It's Michael Bryant and his wife Raquel, not Rachel. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for coming on the show again. Hopefully, we can do this more often. But today, y'all, we're going to talk about their interesting story and how they met. And this is pretty crazy, y'all. These are some YouTube celebrities, I say the least. Anyways, let me be a gentleman. Raquel, can you please give a introduction as to who you are?
Yes. Thank you for having us on the channel. My name is Raquel Bryant, and I am a former corrections officer.
Okay. And Michael, who are you?
My name is Michael Bryant. I'm a former inmate. I did 7 years in prison. And today I'm a business owner, and my wife is studying to be a minister.
Awesome.
I'm a business owner also.
And she's also a business owner. Yes, forgot about that. Sorry.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for the introduction, y'all. So let's go back to the beginning, because this is a pretty crazy story on how y'all met. So this is the quick gist of it, everybody watching. Y'all met while y'all were in prison, right? Locked up. Michael, you were locked up, right?
Yep.
And let's start. What happened that day? You seen her. I'll ask Raquel, what made you pick or choose to be with a prisoner, for lack of better words? No disrespect, Michael.
So when we met outside of prison, I had already quit being a CO. I hadn't been a CO for quite a few months now. And then we had ran into each other after he had gotten released, and it wasn't planned or anything like that. At that time, my mind had already kind of left the prison. So I didn't see him as an inmate anymore. I just kind of saw him as a person, and he turned out to be a really cool person. And things just kind of went from there. So that's kind of.
Well, I'm sorry, but so y'all didn't. My bad. Y'all didn't meet in prison, right?
We did.
We did, but we didn't meet in prison, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Now explain that, because I talked to you last time, Michael. Like, how common is it for people to hook up in prison? Because we see the videos, right? The guards hooking up with the prisoners. How accurate is that, Michael?
It happens. It's not crazy common. For it to happen inside the prison is pretty rare. Mm-hmm. So we were in prison on the same yard. We met in prison, but we also met again after I got released. And that's when we started developing a relationship. When we were in prison, we knew each other. We had talked a couple of times, but there was no actual relationship. It was just, she was a guard, I was an inmate. Mm-hmm. We had a couple conversations. We actually didn't like each other because she had searched my house and messed it up. And I didn't like her.
He did not.
Yeah. And then I got out, and I ran into her at church, actually. And then she had her son and I had my daughter. And I kind of asked her, I was like, hey, we're going to go get pizza. Me and my daughter, do you want to go with us? I pretty much asked if her and her son wanted to go with us. So the first time we ever hung out, her son, who was 3 at the time, and my daughter, who was 7 or 8.
She was 7, about to turn.
Yeah, she was 7 at the time. We just went to Peter Piper Pizza, which is a pizza place here in Arizona. I don't know if they have them in other states.
I think they're nationwide.
Yeah, it's like a kid's arcade for pizza, and we hung out there. And then after that, we started talking more, and then started dating, and then the rest is history.
Hey Mike, but did y'all recognize each other? Did y'all know who y'all were when y'all seen each other in public?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we knew. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. It wasn't an uncommon thing for me to run into the inmates. I ran into inmates all the time. So yeah, it's kind of like a normal thing that happened. That was actually the second time at church that had happened, where I had ran into a former inmate. So we kind of locked eyes and looked at each other, and just immediately both of us knew hey, we know each other.
Yeah. And she's from a town where the prison makes up a large percentage of the population. So there's a lot of it's not a prison town per se, but the prisons are a very big part of that town. And so it's common to be down there and see people who've been to prison, to see guards. Every time we go down there, I see guards, I see people I used to know from prison. So it's kind of common.
Yeah.
What town is that, if you don't mind me asking?
Tucson, Arizona. It's where I was born and raised. And yeah, he's right. Everywhere you go, you run into, well, for me anyways, I would run into somebody I knew from some part of life, whether it be high school, an ex, employee that I used to work with, or ex coworker is what I meant to say, or family member, old friends. Like you always run into somebody.
And what'd your family think whenever you announced to them that you're dating a prison or ex-con, should I say? I don't want to offend nobody.
It doesn't matter. Inmate, ex-con, prisoner, it's all the same stuff. I don't care. And I don't think most of us do care. The only people who care are like the people who've never been in.
Yeah. They pretty much were really open and positive to it. They weren't they didn't judge him. They weren't negative about our relationship. They were just like, if he treats you right, then that's good.
Well, they also didn't know at first.
No, they knew.
Not at first. No, nobody found out for quite a while.
No, they found out at the at my dad's funeral
when we were all that was like 6 months in.
True.
So,
okay,
they didn't know right off the bat.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I'm pretty sure though, if Mike was still thugging it, I mean, I don't think Michael would be someone that you would look for, right? Basically, you met him in church.
No. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not my type. So yeah, that wouldn't have happened if he was still, before he went into prison, if he was still doing that kind of shenanigans. I don't think we would have ever worked out.
And I'm going to ask you, Michael, but I'll ask Raquel in a minute. But Michael, do you get PTSD from being in prison? Of course, you have a large YouTube channel, and we've done an interview before. But do you still remember like it was yesterday? Do you wake up in cold sweats? What's the deal with PTSD and being in prison? Is that factual?
Yes, yeah, definitely. You can end up with PTSD from being in prison. Everybody's experience and everybody's PTSD is a little bit different. I would say everybody who's been to prison to some degree has maybe not PTSD, but has lasting effects from just like the environment. It's a different environment. It's really difficult to explain what it's like, but it's tense and it's not a fun place to be. And when you live there, you're sleeping there, you're waking up there, you're eating there, using the bathrooms there. Like your entire life is there for years and years on end. Your brain goes through changes that are kind of, difficult to explain, and it never fully recovers. So even though I've been out of prison for almost 9 years now, and I will always have like part of my brain has changed permanently due to the 7 years I spent incarcerated.
And Raquel, how about you? Do you suffer? Do you suffer because you are in prison? It's like kind of like I don't want to say you're serving in prison or you're serving a sentence, but you are in prison. How did that affect you then, and how does it affect you now?
Then I was different. Things kind of like changed after I left. It took some time to readjust back into like working a normal job outside of the prison. Because in prison you have to have a really hard exterior. You have to be not mean, but you have to be very stern. And then, when you go work a normal job outside of prison, that's not the case. You need to be nice and friendly. So that took some time to adjust. And I do still have dreams of being a CO. I don't know. It's weird. It's been it's been over 10 years. But I do still, oddly enough, have dreams of it. I still have memories. But those memories are starting to fade. Like if I run into somebody I knew from then, I am starting to forget their names and things like that now. But I never really had like PTSD, I would say. I never really had like any super crazy events happen in there. So nothing too bad anyways.
So what would you say the craziest thing that you witnessed or experienced in prison?
The inmates who were very, very high on spice, there was quite a few of those incidents where one guy, he was almost like a demon, like he was possessed by a demon is what it seemed like. That was probably one of the craziest things. I've seen some staff assaults happen. I saw the aftermath of them anyways. I've seen some inmates who were beaten up really badly, things like that.
And that spy stuff, that stuff is still around, huh, Michael? I've heard about that and seen videos about it. Well, how do they even get that in there, and how they even I guess they can get anything in prison, right? Basically.
Yeah, mostly through visitation. Their girlfriends bring it in through the visitation room, and there's an entire system that the women go through to get it into the visitation room, and then they get it out, and then give it to the men, who then put it back in somewhere else, and then get it back to the yard. So it's a regular thing. So there's a lot of spice on, at least in Arizona. There's more spice in Arizona prisons than any other illegal substance, and it's an epidemic. Spice in there is like meth and the other stuff out here on the streets. I don't want to say too many names of stuff because YouTube doesn't like it, obviously.
So let me ask you this, bro: is it like the movie American Me, the way they sneak it in? Oh, well, probably not, because it goes to the sewer and all that crap.
Yeah, every prison's different, and that's what makes prison so crazy, is because every prison's different, every yard is different, every group of inmates is different, and they're all extremely creative. So what might be the norm at one prison is going to be completely different at another prison, especially when you start going state by state, city by city. Arizona is most of the stuff comes in through visitation. A lot of it does come in from outside crews, which are like inmates that have jobs where they're allowed to leave the prison and go work for the day and then come back. So there's a lot of ways, and people are creative. Nowadays, they're flying drones into the prisons that just drop packages. It's insane.
I mean, that's what you think you see in the movies. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Raquel, I'll ask you this, because when you first started working in prison, was it like the movies when you went in there? How was it like when you first walked in and you had to do a shift there? Were you what's the word here? Were you kind of blown back or taken aback by the way prison is?
Yes, I was. It's not like the movies. My first time going to the prison was I was actually still a cadet in the academy. And towards the end of it, you go check out your yard before you actually start and get your badge. It's called on-the-job training. And I had gone. The yard I went to had just had a riot. So I thought in my head, okay, cool. They're all going to be in cells. It's going to be an easy day. And I get there, and it's actually dormitory style. And right before I walked into the dorm, the CO that was training me, he said, okay, before we go in there, if anyone says anything to you, just let me handle it. I said, okay. And I didn't really understand what he meant by that at first until we walked through the doors. And then I see just bunk beds and inmates everywhere. And I was like, oh, wow, this is nothing like what I thought it was going to be. So it was a little bit of a shock.
Oh, I had it muted. Sorry, y'all. We're doing our new segment, and we had to make sure everything's good. How did prison smell? Give everybody if you could remember that. I know it's kind of a weird question, but how was the smell in there?
Yeah, fried bologna.
I was going to say that fried bologna and bleach.
And bleach. Yeah, that's what it smells like. Fried bologna and bleach.
Yep.
And what was I guess what was the nicest or the most best day what would be a good day in prison for you, Raquel?
You know what? I actually like doing the hospital runs. Those were my favorite. So they would have volunteers every morning or every shift. Before you go into shift, you have briefing, and they would ask who would like to volunteer for hospital runs. And if you get picked, you get to go to main complex, where we'd get our firearms, and then we'd all get on a van and we'd all go to the hospital together, and we would just sit there and watch TV basically, and watch the inmate while they were in the hospital. Those were easy shifts.
Okay. And Michael, what was a good day for you in prison?
Probably when I was playing poker, I would wake up, go to breakfast, work out, do some pull-ups, open up the poker table, because I ran the poker table for my race, and play poker from 10 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, 12 hours a day, and just for months and months on end, I did that. Those were my favorite days in prison. I would just play a ton of poker and make, lots of honey buns and soups. I'm a very, very good poker player. So and it was very easy for me to win money in there. I played poker for years in there.
I'm gonna just say it real quick. I'm a conservative, and to hear you say, bro, you spent all day playing poker, you gambling, bro. They kind of, I'm not gonna say it, but you don't mean like, damn, bro, you gonna be in prison playing poker all day. But it's not that fun though, right? Or is it?
No, so I would do poker like in it would be like I'd play for like 2 or 3 months and just make a ton of money, and then I'd go back. And I spent a ton of time in prison, pretty much just working out, reading, and working my job, which we talked about in the last video, which was telemarketing. But if I wasn't working out or reading, I was probably playing poker. Sometimes I play dominoes and spades. But yeah, and to this day, even today, I play close to 15 games of chess every single day. Like I play chess all day, every day. I have on the chess.com, which is the world's biggest chess app, I have 15,000 chess games recorded on there. And like I love games against other players, like the it's called game theory, like any game that has like a GTO, a game theory optimal. So chess, poker, spades, dominoes, like I can just sit there all day. For me, like it does something for my brain where it like calms me down. I can just play dominoes for an hour straight, or poker for 6 hours straight, or chess for. She gets mad because I play chess so much at home. Like I'm always playing chess, and I was the same way in prison. I would play 10 games of chess in prison every day.
Why do you think them? Why do you think them convicts like to play like chess and I would understand poker and all that, but chess of all things because that's kind of I would think an intelligent man's sport. Not trying to knock nobody, but why do you think that they play that? That's pretty interesting. I never even knew that they played chess in prison.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. We play a lot of chess in prison. There's guys in there that are some of the best chess players in the world potentially are in prison, but it's an escape for your brain, right? Like you're not thinking about prison, you're not thinking about the bad food, you're not thinking about your family back at home. You're just thinking about the chessboard and how to win. And every game you're learning. So we would sit there, me and my buddies would sit there and play 10, 20, 30 games in a row sometimes while we were in prison. And now I just play online, so I don't really get the experience of playing, face to face with people. My wife plays and my son plays a little bit, but I don't usually play with them because it's not fair and I blow them out of the water.
Fair enough. Hey, Raquel, let me ask you this because I asked Mike about this on the last pod, and it was kind of an interesting topic. I made even shorts for it, but did you deal with Sheriff Joe?
I did not. No, I actually. It's funny. We just passed there, and we were talking about our memories. The county jail here, Maricopa, and I actually did apply at Maricopa, and they had this whole like in the introduction for all of us who were applying, and it was a video from Sheriff Joe, and he was like at the end of it, he's like, "And I look forward to having you as one of my sheriffs," is what it was.
Yeah.
And I felt like, oh, he's talking to me.
Hey, I said that in the last video. I said I like Sheriff Joe. I like his approach, even though Michael said they.
Oh God. She likes Sheriff Joe too.
Yeah, I liked his policies and whatnot at the time. I'm from a law enforcement side, so for me, I felt like he was more for law enforcement rather than the inmates, and I thought that was different than the state. I thought the state kind of favored the inmates over its actual correctional officers, which is why I was looking to leave the state prison and maybe come to Maricopa County instead.
Okay, let me ask y'all that. That's pretty interesting because I know. Shout out my boy, the prison guard Hector Bravo. He talks about how corrupt they are in Cali. What do y'all think? I'll start with you, Mike. But do you think that there is something that needs to be investigated as far as these prisons? Because maybe there is. I'm hardline. Southern Baptist over here, independent fundamental Baptist, should I say? And you break the law, go to jail. You ain't supposed to be in there having too much fun, or you're serving a sentence, right? That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Mike, do you think that there is corruption as far as that needs to be investigated? Is there crimes against humanity in prison? Go ahead.
Yes, right. And that's the cut and dry answer, but there's varying degrees to everything, and it's a complicated, multifaceted subject where there's corruption wherever there's money. That's just the way the world works. It doesn't matter if it's a nonprofit. It doesn't matter if it's a church. There's corruption in churches. There's corruption in government. There's corruption in politics on both sides of the fence. There's corruption anywhere there's money. As soon as money starts getting involved, there's corruption. And that's just the way the world works because of greed, right? We're all, we all fall victim to greed, and it's part of human nature. But it's not, as far as like the prisons, is there crimes against humanity in there? I saw bad things happen in prison. I'd say probably the worst thing I ever saw happen in prison was there was a black dude I was in prison with who got an infection on his leg. In fact, you probably worked there before this happened, or no, after this happened, and he got an infection in his leg, and the medical staff there just wasn't qualified enough to handle it, and they pretty much sent him back on the yard with antibiotics, and then it happened again when in reality they should have referred him to a specialist, right? And I'm not a doctor. I have no idea what kind of specialist or what kind of infection it was. I just know I was on the yard with him. He had been writing letters to go to medical. He had been going up there every day. The infection got worse and he lost his leg. Now, is that corruption or is that just, what's the word, malpractice, or people just not, being really qualified to do that type of job in a facility like this? I don't want to, jump to assumptions or conclusions, because I only know from my point of view what I saw. My buddy lost his leg, and it sucks. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can never go back. That's something that's going to change his life forever. He sued the state, by the way, too, and he got a ton of money. At least that's what the rumor on the yard was. The rumor was he got like $10 million from the state. Oh, so, damn. But once again, too, inmates make up rumors, and I don't really know what the true story was. I haven't spoken to him in 10 years because he got moved off the yard after it happened because the state knew they messed up. They knew there was a mistake that had been made. Mm-hmm. And, were they intentionally trying to lose the guy's leg? No, probably not, right? But they made a mistake. They should have sent the guy to a hospital immediately, realized that the infection was not, the antibiotics weren't working, and they should have. But is there corruption in the prisons? Yes. Is there, what's the word that they always say, systematic oppression, right? Like, is there systematic, not oppression, but systematic corruption? And is there like a big scheme to lock up as many people as possible and like mass incarceration for the for-profit prisons? I don't know. Maybe. Like, I don't know. I try not to look too deep into it because I can only affect what I can affect. I can only change my life and my wife and my children. So I try not to go too deep into the rabbit hole anymore. I used to back in the day, but.
Okay. The pressing question: would you lose your leg for $10 million, bro?
No. Hell no.
I think I probably would. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So, because some guys probably say, "Man, take my leg off," for $10 million. Damn, that's a lot of money.
It depends. Like, if we were 30 years in the future and like I could get like a super cool robotic leg, maybe.
Right. Okay. Right. Think on it. It can post for you. Anyways, all right. So, have a camera on there. It probably will happen. Okay, Raquel. Yeah. So, let me ask you the same question. Do you think that there's a problem with the prison systems? I'm interjecting saying maybe there is, because if it's not like, are the prison systems like state funded, or are they funded by taxpayer dollars, or are they private? They're private, ain't they?
Both.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting, because I would say there's a pay to play, probably even if it's a private business, especially, but then even with the government, right? We know that we can't trust them for nothing. So that's kind of an interesting, situation.
Yeah.
They'll probably never get busted, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I think because
no.
Yeah.
Something
they work directly with the governors. And so like in Arizona, there's maybe 20 different prison complexes. I'd say 12 of them are state funded, the other 8 are private. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you want to go? If you're a prisoner, where do you want to go? The state funded or the privately held company prisons?
Private. Yeah, I think the private. I never went to private. I did all my time in states, but I've heard that privates are nicer. Everything is nicer. The quality of food, the clothes, everything is supposedly. I've never been to one. You've been inside of a private prison before, though.
Yep, they are. They're for the inmates. They're nicer. Working there from a CO standpoint, it's harder to do your job coming from state to private, because state, they're more about the policies. Private, they're more about just everybody being happy.
Really?
Yeah. Keeping the inmates happy. So me coming from the state, trying to, regulate the rules. And I remember I put an inmate on report, which is to give them a ticket for doing something they're not supposed to be doing. He went straight to the sergeant, and the sergeant basically threw away my ticket and told me that I needed to lay off. And I was like, what?
That's crazy.
This would have never flew at the state prison.
Is the pay the same?
No, the private prisons pay the correctional officers less than the state pays.
Really?
Yep. So for me, it wasn't worth it.
So where would you rather work at, in the private or public or state?
For me, I would have chose state, but neither were my cup of tea.
Well,
To say the least.
Raquel, let me ask you, why did you quit? Or hold on, let's tear this apart. Why did you start working in the prisons, and then why did you quit?
So I started very young, actually. So right out of high school, I'm going to go back a little bit to kind of explain why. So right out of high school, I went to dental assisting school. Literally a month after I graduated, I was in dental assisting school. I graduated in 11 months, and I got a job right outside of school right after I graduated and got my dental assisting degree. And I worked as a dental assistant for 2 years. My first year passed, and they told me, you're not eligible for a raise because there's still so much you need to learn. And I was like, okay, I accept that. Like, I have improvements I need to make. I get that. Then the second year came and my annual review came up, and they finally gave me my raise, and it was 50 cents. And I'm like, wow. So at that point in time, I was not happy. Dental assisting just wasn't for me. I loved schooling, but I didn't love the office I was at, I guess. But I had only worked at one office, so I guess I didn't really realize that, hey, maybe it's just the office. I thought it was just dental assisting in general. Again, I was young. I was 20 years old. And then I was in school at the time too, because I was still working towards college, getting a degree and whatnot. And one of my classmates had told me that he was in the academy to become a correctional officer. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know there was a prison here in Tucson. And he's like, yeah, you didn't know? I was like, no. And he said, you should try it. He said I had just recently told him how I was hating being a dental assistant, and I didn't know if I still wanted to go and be a dental hygienist. So I told him, I don't know what I'm going to get my degree in. And he had told me, well, you should try being a corrections officer. They paid this much. And when he told me the pay, it was a lot more than I had been making. So I was like, whoa, if I did that, I wouldn't have to work 2 jobs to pay for my college classes. It just sounded like a better opportunity for me. And the fact that it was kind of, scary. I was kind of a daredevil. That kind of intrigued me as well. So I did. He wrote down the number for me. I called. I looked into it a little further, and I was very back and forth with it. My family was trying to talk me against it. I had heard some things like people get stuck there. Once you become a CO, you kind of get comfortable, and then you just kind of stay till retirement. And for me, that's never what I wanted to do. I was just kind of looking for something to do at the time. And so I tried it out anyways. I went against what everyone was saying, and I tried it out. And at first, I really liked it. But over the years, I just realized, like, hey, and I knew I gave myself 2 years when I started. I said, I'm going to be here for 2 years, then I'm going to move on. 2 years passed, and about 2.5 years, I realized, hey, I'm still here. I'm not happy. Things were not as they seem. And I kind of realized why the turnover rate was so high for corrections officers, just overworked and underpaid. And that was pretty much what made my decision.
Wow, interesting. Well, I know what happened to Michael. You did your complete sentence right and got out, right, bro?
Yeah.
No back. Okay, so now this is where we pivot, y'all. I can see from the back, there's a camera in the background. I know Michael. He's become a good friend of mine, and I met Raquel today. But guys, y'all ended up becoming YouTube, I would say, sensations, right? For lack of better word. So
we're still pretty new.
Okay, yeah, but let's go down this train of thought here. So the last time y'all stepped foot on a prison yard was how many years ago?
I was just back visiting about 2 months ago. I went back to go do some speaking.
No, Mike, but I mean, like, as far as being
9 years ago. Almost not. I got out January of 2016. So in just a few months, I'll be at my 9-year anniversary.
Okay, and Raquel?
I just passed 9 years that I left. So I left in 2015.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is this was so far back, but y'all have gotten some recent success, and now y'all have a prison channel, correct?
Yep.
So what I want to say is, did you ever think that you would be, I guess, prison content creators or prison channel YouTubers? No.
Not at all.
Okay, so we're saying that because I think that's kind of crazy, right? It's like a part of your life that you're no longer
Yeah.
affiliated with, right? You see, what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. I'm trying to come from a content creator perspective and also civilian, but it's a part of your life that you're no longer really attached to, right? For the most part, and you're making content off of it, and it's very popular. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, why are y'all making content? I'll start with you, Michael. Why are you making this content?
So when we first started doing content, I was going to talk about business, right? Getting out of prison and starting my company, and all of the headaches and troubles that go with owning a business, which I'm very passionate about teaching. Right, I like to teach people that owning a business is not as glamorous as you might think. It's not all fun and games. It honestly, like in my opinion, I hate owning a business. It sucks, but there's a lot of freedoms that come along with it. That it's a trade off, and for some people it's worth it, and for others it's not. But I started a channel about business and how I didn't, drink, or how I quit vaping, and how I got my life, made a better life for myself after prison. But I had a very, very almost no focus on prison at all. And then I would make a video every now and then about prison, and it would get like 1,000 views, which for me then was, a lot of views, because my normal videos were getting like 20, 30 views. And then one day I made a video about my wife, and I said, like, yeah, I married a corrections officer. And I think that video got like 3,000 views, like fast. And I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. So we made another video where I actually interviewed my wife about being a corrections officer and what it's like. And that today is still our #1 video with about, I think, 86,000 views. And that video just did really well. A lot of women gravitated towards it. We have a lot of women in the comments, a lot of men in the comments. And then we made a short about being married, and that short went viral. It got it's probably at like 6-7 million views on TikTok right now, and I think 7 or 8 million on YouTube. And so we kind of decided, we're like, you know what, let's just bring my wife on the channel full time, because it makes it easier for me to have somebody to talk to, and it gives us a different level of content. And so all of a sudden we're back, in prison again.
Wow. Okay. So I'm gonna go to your channel real quick. Michael, the short buddy. What is your actual? Well, let me ask you, Raquel. Did you ever think you'd be? You said you never thought you'd be a content creator making YouTube videos. But what are your whole thoughts on everything? Because you're backing your man. That's what he wants to do. I salute you. My wife, she don't want to get on camera or nothing, but that's her. I respect her. Her right to do so. But how do you feel being a YouTuber? Should I say?
I'm still very new to it, and I'm still, I think, a little shy and not, camera ready sometimes. But it's fun. I like it. It's really fun.
And how is it being a female YouTuber? Do you think that there's like hurdles or obstacles, and they kind of hold you back? 'Cause, like, I'm not gonna lie, my wife is very self conscious. She don't want to be in front of the camera. I mean, we all know how trolls are. Haters on the internet they can get freaking brutal. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was worried about as well. I was worried that the comments were going to get to me, especially after the viral video and the negative comments. But they actually really don't affect me at all, because at the end of the day, those are just strangers and their opinions. And what does it really have to do with me and my life? So
Yeah.
I just brush them off. I'm actually doing perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, but
And we only have one video with bad comments. Like, all of our other videos are like crazy positive, and even on that video, only like maybe 20% of the comments are negative.
Right.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think y'all's genre is probably not going to get as much as hate as long as you, like, if you're in another genre per se. I'm not going to say the other one I'm involved in. It's nothing but hate comments and anyways. But I think y'all are pretty much on par to do pretty good, especially with prison content blowing up like it's been. Here's your right here, Michael and Raquel. You have how many subs you have, bro? I can't really see. It's kind of got bad.
42.7 right there it says, or 42.8. It's up 42,000.
Okay, and Michael, I mean, I've met you, and I know you from behind the scenes, man. You're very driven. What would you say the biggest obstacle is that's in your way as far as being a content creator or a YouTuber?
The biggest obstacle probably is just the learning curve. We didn't have a lot of experience in, cameras, photography, videography, editing. There's a lot of little pieces that are required to do YouTube, and you have to know titles. And people are like, "Oh, well, that's easy." It's really not. Like understanding, like just titles takes months and months and months of practice to get good at. Thumbnails, months and months and months of practice, descriptions, SEO, production, editing, understanding like the metrics like retention, average view duration, average percent viewed. Like there's a lot. And people are like, "Oh, you just make a video and put it on the internet." Like, no, that's not how it works. Like we have so many bad videos, and we spend a lot of time studying and learning, and we're still we're nowhere near where we want to be. It's all about just taking that time to learn and grow. And somebody, I think Mr. Beast says, he says, if you're not willing to do it for 10 years without making any money, don't even start, because that's how long it could take. So if you're not willing to do that kind of investment, just don't start. But if you're patient enough and persistent enough and dedicated enough to sit it out for years not making money, then you might be able to just make millions or whatever, hundreds of millions like he does.
Man, you're touching my soul right now, bro. It's freaking. And the crazy thing is, for you kind of pivoted because, of course, this wasn't you weren't planning on making prison content, but now you are.
Right.
Well, let me ask you: do you think your content is under the umbrella of prison genre / prison content?
Yeah, very very close. It's probably a little bit inside and a little bit outside. I think part of our audience is almost like the relationship audience, because it's a husband and a wife, so we get a lot of women that come in and they comment and stuff. So I think that's a big part of our audience. Another big part of our audience is people who have, a loved one in prison. We have a large Christian following too, because we've made a couple videos about being Christians, and we don't hide that on YouTube, even though I know a lot of people, do, but we have always been open and honest about it. So we have a diverse audience, which is kind of tricky, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Hey, were you a Christian in prison, bro?
Yeah, I was an atheist my whole life, and then I went to prison, and I ended up in lockdown for 30 days with a Bible, and I just had nothing except a Bible. So I sat there and read it all the way through, and I talked to God, and I've been a Christian since that day. Not a great Christian, but a Christian.
Yeah, count me in there. Hey, Mike, but you being a Christian in prison, bro, did that affect you, or that's out the window when you're in there doing what you have to do with your crew and your race?
It doesn't really matter. If you're a Christian in prison, you're a Christian in prison. It's fine to go to church. It's fine to read the Bible. It's fine to try to stay out of the mix. You don't have to get involved unless you want to get involved. The only time that doesn't apply, and being a Christian isn't going to protect you, is if there's a riot. If a riot happens, you have to be there. If not, you're going to get disciplined by your own race later on. So that's just part of the prison politics.
Well, I would say this: is there ain't there a Christian car in there, or there's not just the Christians?
You stick with your race. Wow. Christians can go to church together and hang out and talk and go to Bible study. That's all fine and dandy. But you eat with your race, and there might be other Christians in your race, and you eat with them. But you stick with your race. So it's there's not really a Christian car. It's black, white, Mexican, Native American, essentially.
And I'm going to ask, I'm going to go to Raquel, but I want to ask you the same thing, Michael, because it made me really think about it. The race issue, it's crazy, right? You boil down to the most common denominator when you're locked up. Raquel, did you see the racial issues or tensions in prison? How did that make you think about, all that stuff while you were working there?
Yeah, it was definitely something I didn't really think about going into the job. And once you're there, it's a big part of prison. It's, pretty much how the inmates run things. Mm-hmm. And us as correctional officers just have to adapt to that as well. And it is weird. It's different from the outside world. So that's kind of something I had to get used to going in, and then get used to coming out.
It's segregation. Prisons are literally it's, you go from the real world into a prison that's completely segregated, and you're not used to living in segregation. So, it's a concept from 100 years ago, and it still exists in the prisons.
But you would think though, right? Because everybody says that that the people will live amongst each other and abide by certain civil rules or whatever. Like people that don't like the government, right, or any kind of authority. But the the CEOs and guards, I mean, they run the prison to a certain degree, but the prisoners run the prison, right, Michael? Like if you let the men, it's just crazy to me because you let the men run the whole prison. They're in there doing their thing, and they segregate themselves in amongst race, bro. I don't know if y'all two understand or anybody can understand what I'm saying. I think this is freaking like crazy, or is it just like common or just normal, human nature? When you don't have nothing else, you do that, bro. I think that's kind of weird, bro, because we ain't dealing with that out here. I would say, in my community, whatever. But I always thought it was weird, bro, that when people go to prison, they just stick to their race. That's just you have to. That's the program, right? There's no breaking from the program.
No, you can't separate. It's not even possible. Like once you get there, you pick a race. Like if somebody tried to go in and like not pick a race, they would literally just get beat up and run off the yard like within like 5 minutes. It's You have to pick a race, and then once you pick your race, you stay with them forever. You can never change it. And then it's set up the way it's set up. It's hard to explain, but it is necessary to an extent. If you don't have racial structures that are setting like rules for the Mexicans, rules for the white boys, rules for the blacks, rules for the chiefs, rules for the paisas, it'll turn into chaos and anarchy. Like you have to have these rules that govern the place because you've got a bunch of men who are angry, frustrated, irritated, can't see their families. There's no women, no good food. There's so many reasons to be angry there that without these rules, it would just be complete chaos. But with the structure that the races, make, it allows some semblance of, civilized behavior to exist. Without it, there are yards and states that have tried to get rid of them and it doesn't work. It has to be this way. And I don't like it either. I hate the idea that like a black dude can't cook a meal with a white dude. Like that's stupid to me. Like it doesn't matter. But in prison, these rules keep it operational. It keeps it so that like the yard doesn't have to be locked down 24 hours a day. It keeps it so that like two people can't go, rob somebody else for their store. And in prison, there's a lot of rules that'll protect people that most viewers don't understand, right? Like if you're a little skinny, nerdy white boy and you get to prison with glasses and you're 5'3", 120 pounds, little nerdy guy, I can't go steal all of your store. I can't go bully you. I can't go pick on you. I can't make your sentence harder than it is. I can't do anything to you because of the rules of prison. Like that stuff's not allowed. And a lot of people don't know that. They think that prison's just like every man for himself and dog eat dog. And no, it doesn't work that way. Like if you go to prison and you're that little 5'3" nerdy guy, you're completely safe. Like nobody's going to mess with you unless you break the rules. Mm-hmm. If you don't break the rules, you're fine. If you don't get in debt, if you don't talk crazy to people, if you don't, steal, you'll be fine. Like those are literally like the main rules of prison. Don't get in debt and, don't get high and put the yard on blast and you'll be just fine because those rules exist. You take those rules away and that same little 5'3" nerdy guy goes to prison and people have their way with him. That's just the way it is.
I didn't think about it like that. I mean, I guess it's how it is, and that's just the way it goes. Okay, let's get back to the channel. So here's your channel, Michael. I mean, I'm telling you, man, I got 10K. It took a lot of struggle to get there. You're at 42K, almost 43, and you're just blowing up over here, bro. I love what you got going. I know the mindset you have. You're very driven. You pay attention to every detail. What I've noticed, I've seen your spreadsheets, and I'll just leave it at that. You're on it, bro, and I appreciate you even being on my channel. I'm a little guy, but anyways, here's your channel. We're gonna check out. I would guess we're gonna go to this video right here. This is your latest video. Now, what are you doing currently? Because you have, I don't say really pivoted, but you are kind of doing some different kind of content with the purpose because now you're actually helping these inmates as far as when they get out. Can you touch on this whole new move that you're doing while I get ready to play this clip? Go ahead.
Yeah. We talked a lot and we were watching other channels that are somewhat in the genre of us. And I kind of we decided like, we didn't want to just make videos about nothing that had no value, make videos about, people getting stabbed or, politics or how many cigarettes cost to buy a soup in prison. Like, to me, they didn't really offer a lot of value. And I know that people like get entertainment out of that, but we own a business. We've been very fortunate and blessed since we've started our company, and we just wanted to do something more positive and also something unique and original that nobody else had ever done. So we decided to pick people up the day they get out of prison and interview them, and then take them out and go shopping, buy them some clothes, buy them food, buy them a cell phone, give them some cash, and help them have the best possible chance at, freedom again, or a second chance, as we could, or that we thought we could help with.
Yep.
Raquel, what are your thoughts about the pivoting of the channel, going to that kind of content? Do you enjoy it? What are your thoughts before I play this clip?
Yep, agreed. I am with him 100% on that, talking about prison over and over, it doesn't really give too much value to anyone. I mean, I guess it's like educational for some and, entertaining, but definitely being able to help someone who's just starting over again means the world to us both. Like, I enjoy it as well. It's great. It's a great feeling.
And
definitely.
I told Michael before, I love that he pivoted. He's going this route. I call him the Mr. Beast of the prison genre. And I think he's doing very well. And I would even say it's kind of crazy, Michael, how you're not put into the YouTube yada, bro. Like, nobody ever talks about you. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm saying this is pretty good because it's like everybody that does prison content or even the Raza podcasters, they never can get along, bro. But they're always talking crap about each other. Have you noticed that, bro? They always talk crap about each other about makes prison content, but like they never talk about you, Jay. What's that guy named JD? Even they talk bad about what's his name, the big old white guy.
There's a bunch.
The biggest one is he's a big old white guy, bald headed. He's the main. They say he's a
Larry Lawton.
No, I forgot his name. I'm messing up over here.
JD DeLay. He's a pretty big white dude.
One, bro. He's like, he does like where you can go to his house or to his complex. I forgot his name. Shame on me, but I'll get it.
1090 Jake?
No, he's a big old, like a bodybuilding white guy, bro. And he does like motivational
Wes Watson.
Yeah.
Him.
Okay.
Yeah, Wes Watson.
I'm just saying, bro, it's just weird. Now that I think about it, bro, no one ever touches on you or saying that you're talking about prison. Like, I wonder why, bro, it's like that, though. Like, they don't mention you or even some of these guys. It's like the Raza the Hispanic content creators, they just talk about themselves, bro. Have you noticed that?
I think a big part of that is because we're from Arizona. So a lot of those dudes are out in Cali. So like I watch a lot of those channels. I watch Dubs. I watch Cholo Juan. I watch what's the other guy? Gunner, who's always on live with Dubs. I watched some of Wes Watson videos, and I know that people hate Wes Watson, and I know that his story supposedly is fake. It's all, I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't on the yard with him, so I don't know. But I've heard that he didn't do 10 years and whatever. But Wes Watson has, like, if you watch his videos, they're crazy motivational. Like, the guy is, like, mentally, like, he's tuned in. Like, he's all about just, like, success. And, like, I like it. Like, regardless of whether or not he did all of that time or not, his videos are, they're packed full of, like, knowledge and good advice. But once again, I think it's because they're all from California. And so out there, it's a lot different. The prison politics are different. I've heard that term too, the yarda. They call it the YouTube yarda. That's the YouTube yarda. But, and also it might be because we're so new. I don't know. Maybe they've never heard of us. I've commented on Dub's channel a couple times, like, just like, hey, what's up? I've been in his live streams and just said what's up to him and stuff. But yeah, we don't, and we also don't we're not into like the politics and stuff. That's not our thing. Like, we're not into like prison politics or drama. Like, that's not our, don't care about that.
Yeah, but if you ask them, bro, they'll say the same thing. We don't talk about the prison gangs. We don't say the names and all this. I'm like, man, whatever, bro. That's how you made your bones. But I'm going to be honest. Yeah. And I wish I wouldn't ask this question because it's a pretty good segment. I wanted to go to this video, but I'm going to say this real quick, bro. I say I'm all for it. When I first saw the prison content come out, the genre with, what's his name? Another one. Damn, now I forget his name. The guy that got killed, bro. The guy unalived by somebody went to his tattoo studio. He was one of the first YouTubers, bro. I forgot his name. Man, I'm horrible over
Somebody went to a studio over YouTube stuff?
Yeah, well, they say it was, but I forgot his name. It leaves my mind again. I'm messing up. But he was one of the first YouTubers I seen making content. A young guy. He was a Deuce Fiver, bro. I forgot his name. Anyways, but he made content, and later on they went to him and took him out, bro, out there in California. I think he was in, I forgot what. But anyways, I'll get his name here in a minute. But I'm just saying, when I first seen prison content, bro, I tripped out. Like, man, my stepdad came from prison. He was part of a certain organization, and we never talked about it, bro. And it really was. I told you in the last video too. It was really surprising to see people talk about prison. I never thought I would see people make YouTube videos about prison. And so now going to 2024 and me being a content creator and me seeing how it is, and people get blowback for making prison content. And some people are saying, I saw American Cholo telling the big homie Cholo Juan that they need to start separating these prison channels and who's a dropout and all this. And Cholo Juan's like, nah, I'm not involved in all of that. I respect them for that. But the point is, now I'm like, you know what? If somebody wants to make a prison genre and talk about these organizations, why can't they? We're civilians, bro, and we're content creators. We could talk about whatever we want to talk about. Like I said, at first, when I first seen the prison genre and content, it tripped me out. But now I'm like, man, it's free speech. If someone wants to come out of prison and talk about these organizations or anything, who says they can't, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, those are rules for them or people in prison, not for people that are civilians. You know what I'm saying?
Unless I would agree with that, except for the case of if you're affiliated, like if you're in that life and you chose to be in that life, you know what I mean? Especially for like the Mexicans, like they take it so serious, bro. And when you enter that life, you chose that, and it's not like, oh, I'm gonna do it while I'm in prison and then change up when I get out, because that's not, they don't. That's part of the rules are once you're in, you're in. And so for those people, you know what I mean? They should probably follow the rules. And that's probably why, like you said, Homeboy got unalived. Like, I don't know anything. I've never even heard that story. I didn't know that ever happened to somebody. But my guess would be he was probably affiliated and probably wasn't supposed to be. You know what I mean? California's serious about that stuff, bro. It's not the same as other states. It's not like Arizona. And I mean, we've got politics out here too, but it's not. California is a serious place.
Yeah.
It's Savage Studios. That's who it is. He was a dropout.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, one of the biggest. But hey,
we don't use that term either. Like, I never even knew what dropout was till I started watching Dub's channel. I was like, why do they keep saying dropout? Like, it was Dubs or one of them. Dropout's PC, I think, or is it like a step down? Like, you used to be in the gang and now you're not no more.
Yeah, you dropped in, you drop out, or a PC, or anybody that goes to a bad, basically anybody that goes to a bad yard, bro, where the deviants are and the child predators, or if you deflect or on your gang, you drop out. That's a dropout. And some people would even say, I don't even want to be talking about these guys. I hate even talking about this. But like Gunner and Dubs, they say those guys are dropout channels, right? Nobody would really work with them in the YouTube yard, right? That's what I've heard people say. Anyways, I digress, bro. So what are your thoughts on the dropouts in the PCs, bro? What do you think about them making content?
Well, once again, dropout's still not a term. I'm like, so if dropout means PC, then I guess if they're just telling it from their point of view, that's what YouTube is, right? Like, people just get on and share their story, and everybody's in PC or whatever for their whatever the reasons are. I have no idea. You're teaching me right now what dropout means. So I'm trying to process it because I didn't know. I thought it was something else. I thought it was like in Arizona, we have what we call step downs. And a step down is when you're in a gang and you leave the gang.
Yeah, that's what
we have special. Okay. Yeah. So we have special yards for those people where, like, once they're in the gang, they leave. I'm not in a gang. I've never been affiliated. I'm not a gang. I've never had any type of like gang activity. Like, I committed a bunch of crime, but I was never in a gang. So to me, like, it's all the same thing. If you were in and you're not, like, I could care less. It doesn't mean anything to me. But like, like sex offenders and stuff like that, obviously that's a whole different. Yeah, they shouldn't be making content. They shouldn't be on the internet at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's crazy. And we'll touch on that in a minute. We're kind of going into the weeds there with the dropout stuff. Maybe we'll do another segment later about that, me and you, Michael, and touch on that because, or anyways, I don't even really care. Like, I don't even try to even get into that stuff because the thing that I noticed being a free man in America, a content creator, if I start touching a little bit here and there, bro, they'll label me into them genres, bro, or into them, labels, and then I'll be like bad news. Like, it's bad. Like, I did a podcast with the homeboy. I don't know if you've seen it, bro, with Pocho One, and man, people are just writing me, talking crap, saying that he's this, that, and the third. I'm like, man, I'm not even involved with none of this stuff from Cali. Yet you start affiliating with these people. And I'm not saying Pocho's nothing. Yeah. Saying you start talking about people, especially from Cali, or dealing with them. It's like they want to go again after you, bro. It's crazy. That's why I kind of quit messing with the urban or that kind of content, bro, because it just, I don't know, it's a weird situation, the prison genre, I would say, particularly in Cali, bro, because they just act a certain way, bro.
I think they just take it more serious than other states. To them, it's like their lifestyle out there. So like to them, they they're not going to let anything just kind of like slide by. If they feel some type of way, they're going to let the world know. And I watch a lot of the content. I've been watching a lot of that content for a couple of years now. So I don't get involved, obviously, like in the drama. Like I don't read to the comments and stuff. I'll just be watching. Like I'll watch Dubs when he's going off on Wes Watson. Those are my favorite videos. Like I just like to watch him go in on Wes Watson.
Yeah, it's a whole another subject. It kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth as far as being a content creator. But I just know that as of late, they kind of want to shut down the PCs or the dropout channels and say, even though they're big channels. But I'm just like, you know what? No, if we're free men in America, no matter if you're you're defected on your gang, your dropout PC, whatever. If you got a YouTube channel, who's to say you can't make content? But I digress, bro. My bad for getting in the weeds, y'all. This is a clip.
No, you're good.
Set up this clip. What are we going to be watching here and reacting to? Go ahead.
So this is our last video that we did with one of our inmates that we picked up from prison. We picked him up all the way in Safford, so it was a long day. We spent the whole day with him. We got to reunite him with his daughter, and we took them out to eat, and we went shopping at the mall with him, all on his first day out. So it was pretty exciting.
Is this the short or is this the long form?
This is
a long video.
It's a long video. I'm just gonna play part of it, and then we'll
okay.
Next.
I was gonna say we might have a short that is like a summary of this video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Is that better? I can put it on.
I think we might have one. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Like a short that's a summary of this video.
Yep.
Well, here's your popular. But let me get back to. I'll get there in a minute. Let's go to.
I mean, you can skim through it too, like you were, because I don't know exactly where it is. We have a lot of shorts on our channel, so.
Oh, I don't see that one with that guy, or is it?
Oh, maybe you're right.
Is it this one? Oh, right here, look, this first day out of prison inmate interviews. Is that him? Well, you can't even see it. It's this one right here.
Yeah, I can't.
Look, I'm gonna play it. Where's it at? Hold on. Is it this one? No, that ain't him, huh?
That's Nick. Oh, did we not? Oh, it's right. It's the one with the lady holding a baby. Let me see. Go up, go up like 5 videos. Keep going. Nope, not that one. For audience, if you go look at the big view, like go back to the big picture of like the shorts, it's the lady holding a baby.
Yeah, you know what? And I should have. My bad, y'all. We're trying to figure this out. Let's see. And I seen that one with her holding the baby, bro. But I guess
that's his sister.
But what you did, Michael, you got a lot of other videos that you put up. I would think that you would put those after that video, but you've been uploading for a while. But here it is right here.
Oh, that's Nick. Nope, that's not it.
Yeah, it is it.
Oh, that is it. Okay, yeah. Sorry. That is it. My bad.
Okay, hold on. I didn't have that turned up. My bad, y'all. I'm glad you can restart these reels.
And so for what it is for the audience, this is a combination of us helping out different people getting out of prison. It's multiple people.
Yep.
Okay, let me play it. Hopefully the audio works, y'all. Y'all forgive us if it don't, but let's continue.
Sir, Mike, nice to meet you.
Today we are picking up Michael from prison.
That's how you're doing, but I know how you're doing. Yep.
First thing we are going to do is get some real food.
Oh yeah.
Then we're going shopping, of course. Got to get out of these prison clothes.
You want to do a phone? Let's do it. We got you. We're taking care of this.
Let's talk about the future, their goals, their dreams.
I've been doing this since '86, man, and I've never been in a position like I am right now.
Our mission is to show the world that everybody makes mistakes and everybody deserves a second chance.
My name is Michael Bryant. I spent 7 years incarcerated in the Arizona State Prison.
My name is Raquel Bryant, and I'm a former corrections officer.
At first, content creation was just a hobby, but we realized we truly enjoy helping people get a second chance at life.
Y'all want a shirt?
Our goal is to travel around the country, picking people up from prison and lending them a helping hand.
Please like this video so as many people as possible can see it.
And please subscribe to help us provide as many resources as possible to those getting released.
Man, that's amazing. Where's my effects? They're not playing here. Oh. Okay, anyways, and I think, I ain't gonna lie, I think from the audio, I don't think that people are gonna be able to watch it because I played the clip, but the audio is not working for some weird reason. But what are your thoughts? I seen y'all, reacting to that. What are y'all's thoughts just watching that? I mean, how do you feel about that, Raquel? Just kind of seeing all your work y'all have done.
I love it. It really is awesome. I really enjoy it. And just seeing their faces while they reunite with their family and just seeing like their gratitude. It's just amazing.
And
I love it.
What do you think, Michael, seeing it?
For me, a big part of it is like I get to live vicariously through them, like and experience those emotions of getting released again, like every time I do it. So that's a big part of the reason like it's so fun. But I also like helping people. I know that like after you get out of prison, you can find success in a lot of different ways. I did it myself. So like I like to try to let as many people know that as possible, but give them knowledge and experience that I've learned and see if I can help them find success after they get out also. That's kind of like where my passion's been for the last few months.
Awesome. I'm gonna play this last clip. I don't think the audio is gonna play for them, but can you? This one is a clip that y'all went viral on, correct?
Yeah. This is the viral clip.
My wife used to be a CO.
When I was in prison, my wife used to be
when
a
I was in prison,
CO.
and she used to guard me and make sure I didn't escape.
Guard me from escaping.
Now she's cooking me spaghetti. Love you, babe.
that was something like the script, and we were just joking around in the kitchen, and it went viral.
Guys, this is crazy, right? This is our last part of the segment here, but bro, did you? I already know your answer because I know when you do a viral clip, something you never know, bro. But did you ever expect this to go viral? Because what did it do on TikTok? Tell us the numbers and tell us about this whole clip, Michael. This kind of changed your life, right? Is that fair to say?
It definitely changed. Yeah, for sure. It was kind of crazy. We posted it, ate dinner. I turned my phone on after dinner, and it had like 1,000 views. I was like, "Holy cow!"
on TikTok or YouTube?
On TikTok, yeah. On TikTok, it had like 1,000 views, and I was like, "Dang, that's fast." And then we went to bed, and I checked before I went to bed, and I think it was like at 5,000 views. And I was like, "Babe, look!" And I showed my wife, and then we woke up in the morning, and I think it was at like 40,000 views, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then by the time we got to the office, it started to really go viral when we woke up the next morning. So by the time we got to the office, it went from 40,000 views to like 100,000 views. And we showed like some of the people in our office who had, kind of knew we had a YouTube channel. And by the end of that day, when we left our office, it was at 200,000 views. And I remember though, when I woke up in the morning and it was at 40,000 views, I was like, in my mind, I was like, man, that would be so cool if this video got 100,000 views. And then an hour later, it hit 100. And I was just like, man, if this got like 200,000, that would be crazy. And it just never stopped. It went to 700,000 and then 1 million and then 2 million, 3 million. I think it's sitting right now on TikTok at like 6 or 7 million, if I'm not mistaken. No, maybe not that much. Maybe TikTok's only 4 or 5 million. YouTube is the most. So after it went viral on TikTok, like 3 weeks later, which is like, if you think about it, like not very smart. Like I should have caught on pretty early and put it on YouTube earlier. But like 3 weeks later, I was like, we should just put it on YouTube too. So we put it on YouTube, and then it took a long time on YouTube. It went really slow. It got like 1,000 views, and then 2,000 views, and then 3,000 views. And I can even show you the metrics if you want. Like I could put them on here if you want to see it.
I don't know if I can share it, but
okay.
How did it look? Just show us on the scale. Did it take a while or what?
Yeah. It took a while, but it never went down. Like it just kept going up. And even today, it's still pulling in. So it spiked up really high and then dropped. And that took like a month for that to happen. And then it spiked up really high again and dropped. And that was like the third month. And now it's spiking up again. It's actually going viral again right now. It's been pulling in like 30,000 views a day right now. It's insane. Yeah. And it just which is cool. Ends. I'd say about half of our subscribers came from that video, and the other half came from just like the effect that video had on our channel, and then our other videos in general. But it was cool. It was a joke. So a lot of people, it was so short that it was kind of taken out of context, and people thought we were doing stuff in prison. And so people are talking shit in the comments a lot, and I would get in there and talk back. You know what I mean?
I didn't even know he was going to record it. So
yeah.
Let me ask you, hey, at least Michael, bro, at least somebody else didn't post it and get your views, bro. At least you got your own views off your own content, because people do that.
Yeah.
Before too, take somebody's content and it blows up. Raquel, what are your thoughts on? I mean, that's big numbers, y'all. On TikTok and especially YouTube, over 1 million. That's a lot of eyes. Your thoughts, Raquel, this is your first time you went viral, I can imagine. Your thoughts on the whole ordeal.
Yeah, it was it was weird. I didn't expect it, so it was shocking. And I was kind of upset at first because I was like, I didn't even have any makeup on. I was ready for dinner in bed. I didn't expect it to happen. Like, I was just standing there making dinner innocently.
She didn't even know I was recording. I was just joking around in the kitchen. She had no idea I was recording.
And then all these comments came out of nowhere, and it was insane. It just spread like wildfire.
Yeah, Michael, I'm telling you right now, I had a couple of videos hit a couple milli here and there, and it is I would say maybe a special thing. I don't know, and I guess the weirdest thing you can compare it to is like getting lightning in a bottle, right? I'm not saying but this stuff, y'all, you don't plan this stuff, you know, and
Right.
I mean, we touch on it more, but we're almost at the hour mark. But what would you say? I'll ask Raquel first. Any advice for people that want to make content? Any young content creators that might be watching this down the line? What would you advise them on?
Definitely study as much as possible. It's not easy, and you know, when things aren't easy, a lot of people tend to just give up. But that's not the case. Really, just study as much as you can, and don't give up. Just keep trying and trying and trying. And the more you study, the more you'll learn, and the more success that you will have.
I ain't gonna lie. I feel like giving up sometimes myself. I mean, it's a task, you know, especially when you have a family, a business, and then you do this, and then you make a video, you put your heart into it, it gets 40 views, 200 views, maybe, you know. And to be honest, YouTube is way different because I go viral on Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok, but man, YouTube is a whole nother animal. It is freaking tough. Michael, your advice for anybody watching about making content?
Yeah, I agree a lot with what Raquel said. People give up. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But the bigger the reward is at the end, that's going to be how much more difficult it is, right? Like YouTube, we know, like if you can make it huge on YouTube, there is a lot of money in it. So it's going to be more difficult generally, right? Like anything that's going to have a huge amount of money at the end means there's going to be a ton of competition. And the key is really just standing out from the competition. But my number one piece of advice would be to have fun. Like just go out and have fun. Like if you can have fun and do it and relax and, you know, just try to improve a little bit with each video. I think that's kind of the key to doing it. And if you do it for, you know, because you enjoy it out of passion, you know, I think you'll find success in other areas than money, and then money will come down the road as well. So, but once again, I'm so new too. Like we've only been doing this 6-7 months. So I would say, you know, go listen also to other experts. Like don't just take my advice for it. Any new YouTubers watching.
And Michael, you're right, bro, because I don't really hear about the rewards. I maybe one day we'll do a video on that, bro. But how much do they really make, right? If you could really hit that level, because I never really hear videos talking about too much about money, even though that's a big thing that I'm into myself, you know, whatever. But
yeah,
I don't really ever hear about the rewards because maybe some of these guys don't want people to know how much they actually make. But you're right, bro. Not only is the reward pretty big if you can do good, but it's so hard and difficult because there's a low barrier of entry. Anybody with the phone can make a YouTube account and make videos. But I like what you said, bro. The rewards, if you can become successful, you could, you know, stay at home making videos all day. Even though, y'all, I'm gonna be honest, some people go crazy or they can't handle the money and the fame. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of. I've seen it in the oil field. You know, my younger brother, other family members, they get hooked on addiction and they make good money, and before you know it, they're in the pen. You know. So, anyways, with that, y'all, we're at the hour mark. Final words, Raquel, ladies first. What would you like to tell everybody watching? Go ahead.
Thank you, Nino, for having us on your channel, and you know, everybody out there who, I guess, a big message of ours that we want to spread is, you know, everybody makes mistakes, and you shouldn't punish them for the rest of their lives for it if they've already done their time. You know, let them come back into society and help them out. Don't be, you know, so against inmates or ex-inmates.
Okay. Thank you. Michael, your final words for the audience.
Thank you. I appreciate you having us, and we're going to do some more videos together very, very soon. We're going to figure out how to do live streams together very soon. Those would be super cool. And yeah, what Raquel said too, you know, be open-minded towards people. Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes in my past, but most of the people who watch this video have made mistakes that would land them in prison. They just didn't get caught. So, you know, a lot of people have made those kinds of mistakes. And if you haven't, you haven't. That's great too. But be open-minded. And, you know, if Jesus came back today, this is who Jesus would be spending his time with, right? Like that's what somebody told us last week. Jesus Jesus came to save the sinners, right?
Amen.
That's who he was here to save. So I like to have an open mind and realize that people can change and become better.
But let's be honest, y'all. He wouldn't be sitting there and partaking in the sin. A lot of people try to say that too. That he'd be,
Right.
yeah, he's holy.
Right.
Very true.
Yeah. But anyways, I appreciate y'all coming on my little channel. Hopefully one day I could do big numbers too. But again,
You will.
yeah, I appreciate it, bro. It's Time Served. The channel's Time Served Podcast, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Time Served, y'all. Check them out. Like, comment, subscribe on their content. We thank you for y'all's time. And thank you, Michael and Raquel, for joining me on my channel. And with that, y'all, we're out of here. God bless.
Thanks, brother.
Bye. Thank you, Nino.